I want to welcome you to another episode of Beyond the Surface Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Wanda J. Evans-Brewer, and I'm seated this evening to discuss what it means to be a woman. I saw some really hostile comments directed towards Serena Williams. Once again, she's an incredible athlete, has won Wimbledon for the umpteenth time, and one of the comments that came out was that actually she looks like a man. Anybody that's been following Serena and Venus Williams, you know that they're just two little black girls that was trained by their father. They come out of Compton, California, and they were, by all accounts, just two little black girls with beads in their head. They were awkward looking, like they did not appeal to the general public at all as being cute. They were never defined as cute. So they've taken a lot of hits over the years in terms of their appearance. Well, now Serena it has emerged, both Venus and Serena, but I'm going to focus on Serena, has emerged into what would be defined in all other circles as a beautiful woman. She is not only athletic, but she's also very well built. And in the time since Vogue decided to tell us, this white magazine decided to tell us that this is the age of the booty, although black women have always, for the most part, that has been something they've always had. But they said they've decided this is the age of the booty once Iggy bought her one and J-Lo decided that she wanted to accent hers. Nonetheless, Serena has stepped forward as probably one of the most built women ever, and now is taking a hit for it. She's been described as looking like a man. And so that really bothered me. I said, this is really an insult. It's so hypocritical. So we have the media telling us that and that it's okay. On one hand, they're trying to convince us that Caitlyn Jenner, who was clearly Bruce Jenner, who needed the help of science to transition into looking anything even close to a woman, that we should refer to him as her, that we should embrace her as attractive and beautiful. They did this and had, this incredible photographer do this spread to do her final launch to show us what she looks like after the surgical procedure and the use of hormones. And we were told that she is so beautiful. She looks better than her ex-wife and yada, yada, yada. And the truth is she doesn't. But okay, the media is telling us this. And then you have an authentic woman, black woman, beautiful woman, who we've really literally watched go from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And for people who know, follow them, you know that Venus has a heart for fashion. And who can forget when Venus designed Serena the black fitted tennis outfit, where you actually got to see her frame. And by all accounts, even for the heterosexual woman, you had to admit it was a showstopper. So here you have this, and I grew up with, I'm a black female. I've grown up with women that was built just like Serena. Came out the womb, just very fit, athletic frames, nice little dun-to-dun, flat stomach, big thighs, small waist. This is just their frame. And, part of what makes an ethnic group interesting is that you have a different frame. They reflect also not only in the color of their skin, but also in their height, in the way that their body shapes, in the way where the fat deposits fall. That this is also part of what separates them and identifies them and makes them intriguing. Like, I find it interesting that the East Indian woman has wide hips and a small waist, that the Asian woman is petite with very, very straight, rich black hair, that you often find the Mexican woman to be very stout, but also the hair grows long and flows beautifully against, sort of a caramelized skin. So each group offers something. Now, I don't understand, why does Serena, who is 100% woman, born with ovaries, a uterus, vagina, breasts. We've watched her develop over the years because they came in tennis as little girls. Why is she attacked by the media, made fun of by the media? This isn't the first time. We had somebody that was Russian that claimed she was a man, that her and her sister, they referred to both her and her sister as men. But a man who transitions into a woman is somehow celebrated. And the media is trying to convince us that this is the model of a woman. For me, it was very insulting. It's very confusing. Why? I don't get it. Bruce Jenner, aka Caitlyn Jenner, can be anything that he or she wants to be. The problem is it's all store-bought and it's lab assisted. Serena is 100% woman. She does not look like a man. She looks like what a black woman looks like, who is athletic and has very much a very muscular build. That's what she looks like. Now, whether she appeals to you or not, whether that's somebody you would date or that's your cup of tea, your flavor, that's a whole different other conversation. But it's very insulting to hear someone refer to her as looking like a man and then push that constantly, but then skip over to this white man who of privilege, who has mastered turning himself into a white woman of privilege, and then try to convince us that he looks beautiful. Part of it is like, look, when I think of beautiful women, even transgender, RuPaul was beautiful to me. RuPaul is beautiful. When you see RuPaul as a man, I actually prefer RuPaul as RuPaul as opposed to his birth look, because he's so stunning as a woman. I'm not going to tell you that for Caitlyn Jenner. And I withhold the right to tell the truth. Like, when I was growing up as a kid, one of the most beautiful white women on TV was Linda Carter. She played Wonder Woman. Just crystal eye, just beautiful, statuette. And she's an older woman. She's in her 60s now, still just as pretty. Just ridiculously pretty. When I think about Charlie's Angels, people talked about Farrah Fawcett, but I actually thought Jacqueline Smith with her bow legs and her dark hair and her, just sort of just like a kiss of sun to her skin, I actually thought she was the prettiest of the angels. I've seen various white women that I found to be striking, none of which is Caitlyn Jenner, who looks like a man trying to look like a woman. And, again, I'm not trying to belabor this debate, but when I see someone as beautiful as Serena, who has fought to come of age in the media with the lens on her under that level of pressure, when I think about her coming out of Compton, one of the places where they just bag up black kids, when I think about the child that grows up without the father at home, it was her father who was her coach, who stood by her and pushed her and kept her confidence high. And now she's walking as a whole woman. And instead of focusing on her athleticism, there's a huge focus on her appearance. Whereas with Caitlyn Jenner, we're asked to really embrace his evolution. We're asked to accept that he too was some kind of butterfly, and we're supposed to have this greater, grander patience for Bruce Jenner than we should have for Serena. Why is that? I hate to pull a race card, but I'm starting to want to pull it. Why is that? The real woman gets attacked and is accused of being a man, and we have absolutely no reason to question Serena as a woman. That should never even be accepted. It should be shot down, not tolerated. And then we have a man who's transitioned into a woman, and we're supposed to, you're almost being disrespectful not to be excited. If you're not embracing Caitlyn Jenner, then the first thing you get slapped with is homophobia. You get slapped with somehow or another not being tolerant of the gay, lesbian, transgender, queer community. Something's wrong. When I was talking with my son, he was really, one of the things that he was trying to get me to do was to work on my language. He wanted me to have a more progressive, positive language towards the transgender group. And one of the things I tried to explain to him, I said, you're asking a black woman, where you're getting, I'm 48 years old, where you're getting black women who have been compared to primates. Even Michelle Obama was compared to one of the apes from the Planet of the Apes. You're talking about black women who hate themselves so much, they have used lye to straighten their hair. They have worn blue contacts. They buy hair. They got a whole community of people who make millions and millions of dollars off of them because they buy hair from the East Indian culture, from the Asian culture, sew into their own heads, attach those spirits to their own heads in order to look like a group they could not be. You're asking me to sympathize with who? When they have so much bleaching cream in Nigeria. Nigeria has banned it. They're bleaching in Nigeria. They're bleaching in Jamaica. I cannot get past my own group because of the attacks that we face, whether we are poor, like Serena and Venus once were, or whether we are privileged, like Serena and Venus are, in spite of all of her athleticism, all of her awards, in spite of the fact that she is a stellar athlete. She is still being challenged about whether or not she is a woman, instead of just saying, that is a powerful black girl out there playing tennis. Look at her go. Look at her go. How do I embrace that? How do I get past that? One of the things I also tried to challenge my son on recently when we had our discussion, he was saying, Mom, part of what I want you to do is to be patient because, this is how this person feels. These are feelings that people have. And I've told him, you have to be careful with feelings. I compare a lot of what's happening with the transgender group with this, body dysmorphia, where the same way you have anorexics that look in the mirror and they see a fat person, they feel fat, but actually, they're down to 80, 90 pounds, and you can't convince them that they're not fat. And so they continue to starve and starve and starve. These are all my opinions. These are my thoughts based off of my experience, my reading, my classes, my intellect. This is how I see it. So I'm not asking anybody to necessarily agree with me, but I do see it as a certain amount of mental illness. So he was challenging me, and I said, okay, he says he felt like a woman. She says he feels like he felt like a woman. I said, what did it feel like when he first had his first period? How did he feel when he started having a period? What was that like for him the first time he felt cramps? What was that like when the first time his nipples were stimulated? What did it feel like when his uterus was getting knotted, when he was bleeding, when the uterus swole on him? What did it feel like when the first time he dilated? What did that feel like? Does that discount? Because these are all women. If I go up to any woman and bring this up, she knows what I'm talking about. What did it feel the first time he recognized that he had a clitoris, that his clitoris was alive? These are all unique things to a female experience because you would have to be female to have them. I know what it feels like when your breasts swell up because you're pregnant and you're 3-4 weeks in and you cannot believe the tenderness of your breasts. I know what that feels like, and I know what that feels like because I'm a woman. Now, what I don't know what it feels like when the testicles descend or to get hit in my penis. What it feels like if my jockstrap is too tight because I'm not a man. I have no earthly idea what that feels like. I don't know what it feels like to be in a room with a bunch of women and I'm literally salivating at the mouth. I have no idea what that feels like. I don't know what a piss on feels like. When males wake up in the morning and they have a hard on, which is really a piss on. They have to go urinate to get the penis to deflate. I have no idea what that feels like because I'm not a man. And these are struggles for me. I struggle with that trans group because of it. Because I do think that a lot of the movement and transition is about a feeling as opposed to how you are authentically designed. And that design happens at birth. So Serena, for my listeners, is 100% woman. We should not even be debating that. We're not debating it about any other female tennis player. Why would we debate it about her? How dare you? And then in the same breath, ask us to get excited about a store-made woman. You have to go to the store to get somebody. You have to go to a surgeon to get butt, breast, lips, hair, nipple. something has to change. If we're not going to have respect across the plane, people like me that's struggling, how can we grow? How can we really ever embrace and accept if we still defending the very basic right to be a woman, to be built the way ever we're built, designed the way we're designed, and be accepted and embraced and loved? These are some thoughts that ran through me. You'll probably hear me talk about this topic again. Serena is beauty and brawn. And actually, she's a lot of bravery because she had to go through an awful lot, and will to the end of her life go through an awful lot to be one of the best athletes to ever play tennis, to ever play any sport. It's a lot to think about. You've been listening to Beyond the Surface Radio. And I'm your host, Dr. Wanda J. Evans-Brewer. And until we chat again, be safe in God's grace.